Ladies and gents, welcome back. Now, conspiracy theories are completely unacceptable, but it's good that we don't call them that anymore. We now refer to them as spoiler alerts. Now, the channel really took off after a tweet here that I put out. In case any of you are confused, there is a group of truckers in Canada who are 90% vaccinated, protesting government overreach and citizens being tracked with QR codes. If you hear otherwise, you might be being lied to. So if immediately the narrative went to, these are a bunch of anti-vaxxers. And yeah, there's a certain element of people who just don't want to get the vaccination, but a majority of Canadians are vaccinated at this point, and people want to move on. We have countless MPs grilling the Liberal Party, the Liberal NDP coalition now, on when is it that we've reached a point in which we can lift the restrictions because the rest of the world is moving on. And this is getting ridiculous, as it would seem, that we still have restrictions and the rest of the world obviously follows the science. And we want to know what it is, and we're not getting answers. Well, we may have an answer now. Feds consider digital identity and facial recognition for air travel. Now, there's a segment of people around the internet that have been doing research on this since the beginning and have said this isn't about the pandemic. This is about control, and this is about bringing on a new system of identification, a new monetary system, and a social credit system. And that's really what the plan is here in Canada. And here we have it. The Trudeau government has announced it's working with airlines to consider requiring digital identity documents and biometric data like facial recognition for pre-aircraft boarding requirements. A May 14th statement published by the Canada Gazette on regulations amending their secure air travel regulations and designated provisions. Regulations detail how the Department of Public Safety and Emergency Preparedness discussed the proposed requirements during an air travel stakeholder exercise. In accordance with Public Safety Forward Regulatory Plan 2021 through 2023, the need to update the secure air travel regulations to offer more options to travelers and industry to meet pre-aircraft boarding identity verification requirements through innovation is also considered during the stakeholder consultation exercise, said the statement. This includes digital identification documents, digital identity documents, and biometric travel documents. The thing that people said that they don't want, the thing that the truckers were actually protesting, that sparked the protest. It was government ID, new forms of government ID at the border that was the spark for, hey, we're sick of this. Let's move on and get back to living in the free world. Biometric travel documents were defined by public safety as electronic identification documents that use biometric identifiers such as facial recognition, amongst others. The government also noted that 4 identified air carriers were planning to implement the innovative identity management solutions soon. While 4 air carriers confirmed their intent to implement innovative identity management solutions in the short to medium term, no specific immediate change has been identified for the secure air travel regulations, the statement claimed. Testing to introduce facial recognition screening into Canada's airports has been going on since as early as 2016. Hey, I wonder who came into power just before that. I'm curious who came in and was eager to trample on people's privacy and, just backdoor that stuff in. Last year, it was revealed that a Liberal government secretly scanned the faces of millions of unsuspecting travelers at Toronto Pearson International Airport in 2016. According to the Globe and Mail, 31 cameras were used to spy on travelers. Hey. The photos were then matched with a 5,000 person data set of prior deportees to find out if anyone was traveling using fake documentation. Up to 20,000 travelers a day had their faces scanned during this exercise. Concerns have also been raised about the federal government implementing a digital identity program. The Canadian government, Air Canada, and 2 Canadian airlines have signed on to the World Economic Forum's Known Traveler Digital Identity Program. Interesting. Conservative MP and leadership candidate Leslyn Lewis has recently blasted the program, calling it incredibly concerning. I would have to agree with that. The exclusively reported by True North. In February, a federal panel event featuring Senior Assistant Deputy Minister for Innovation, Science, and Economic Development, Francis Bellodo. I brutally kill these names. Sorry, French people. I have a hard time pronouncing your names. Bellodo, I don't know, discussed using digital identities to track Canadians for future vaccinations and to find people who have yet to receive their booster shots. Now, it's interesting that this came up, the World Economic Forum's Known Traveler Identity Program. Well, what is this thing?
The Known Traveler Digital Identity, or KTDI, is a public-private collaboration that enhances security efforts while enabling a connected journey for today's international traveller. The KTDI is the only global travel initiative of its kind. Travellers can share documentation and information from one verified identity with partners including government authorities, airlines, and hotels. The KTDI allows travellers to play an active role in travel security efforts by sharing their information proactively. Travellers always retain control over what, when, and with whom they share their information.
Yeah, I'm sure that's the case. So we have here the World Economic Forum in collusion with Canadian government and organizations to bring about a new known traveler identity program and have a database amongst governments and corporations on what it is that is about you, and knowing all about you and your activities and where you travel and what you're doing. And this is what people are concerned about. This is the main point. But of course, we make this about anti-vax or whatever the thing, conspiracy theory that they want to throw out there. Again, this is about people's ability to travel freely and do it in a constitutional way. They have the right under our charter to not be harassed and harangued and have to share their information when they travel. Now, for the government saying that they're concerned about people coming into the country undocumented or not being able to know who's coming into the country, well, all we have to do is look at Roxham Road. Now, if this is a concern of the government, well, why would there be a permeable border where people from all over the world can just travel into the United States and then walk across our border and into our country? It doesn't seem like it's really a concern to them because they're not shutting this down. They actually have an entourage of RCMP as they come into the border. And as this is being reported by CBC News International.
Do you think Canada will let you stay?
Yes, they will.
Why do you think that?
Because I'm not going back. They don't have a choice then to let me stay. That's why.
No matter what the Canadian government does to slow down the influx, they're still coming. Just in August, look how many crossed over right here. More than 5,000. And so many were kids, over 1,100. Now, not as many Haitians, but clearly word's gotten out in the Nigerian community. Who's next?
Those families that you just...
Who's next indeed. So the thing is, I'm not against asylum seekers. Asylum seekers should definitely go to their neighboring countries and seek refugee status if that's the thing. And I'm not against people coming into Canada, but when they're doing it illegally like this is where there's an issue. And if the concern is that we don't know who's traveling into the country, why is it that we're not taking care of this permeable border? And yet we need a digital ID system for Canadians that just want to go to Disneyland or go to Hawaii or something like that. This seems like a bunch of junk, honestly, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what your opinion is in the comment section down below. Please leave a comment. And don't forget to tune in. I'm going to go into this in more depth tonight in tonight's live stream. Every Friday, I do a live stream at 6:30 Pacific time. Come join in, hang out, and we'll discuss all this in further detail. A lot more than I can get to in a 10-minute video. Anyway, we'll see you in the next video. Keep on trucking.